Hello, today I'm going to be going over some run attempts I recorded for the game Gnome Maw Rat Filler, explaining how the game works and explaining some of the tricks and techniques I use in these runs.
Fucking meal.
Gnome Maw Rat Filler is a game that was released for the Pose Game Jam, released just the other day. Pose, of course, standing for Piece of Shit Expo, the theme of this jam being games that don't work right. To quickly go over how this game works so that you can understand what exactly is happening in these runs, basically you're given a random recipe at the start of a run and ingredients will randomly spawn in on the conveyor belt at the bottom. However, you can't do anything with the ingredients until you get a pot, which also randomly spawns on the conveyor belt. Once you do get a pot, it's as simple as turning the stove on and hoping you get the required ingredients for your recipe before the timer runs out.
I sure am a hungry gnome. I want to eat a big fucking meal.
Something you'll see a lot of in this video is me restarting the game, and unfortunately the only way we can do this is by closing and reopening it. I do this because I'm looking for one specific recipe, which is 2 wheat, 1 cheese, 2 mushrooms. This is because it's the only recipe in the game with only 3 ingredient types, and it has a low ingredient amount at only 5, also the lowest in the game, I believe. I haven't counted how many recipes there are in the game exactly, maybe 6 or 7, and all of them have 4 ingredient types and 5+ ingredients needed, except for this one. It's also good for consistency, as every run I know exactly which ingredients I'm looking for. The first trick you'll see me use in basically every run attempt in this video is called holding. This is where you pick up the first viable ingredient you see before a pot spawns and hold it until a pot spawns. It's important to also drop the ingredient behind the pot as well, as if you drop it on the pot, there is a bug where dragging an ingredient into another item can cause them both to despawn.
I sure am a hungry gnome. I want to eat a big fucking meal.
I use holding instead of using the plates, which you can see at the top left there, because they are extremely inconsistent. It's supposed to be a kind of short-term ingredient storage. Basically, you can put ingredients on them while you wait for a pot to spawn. However, after a few seconds, a rat will come out and eat the ingredients you've left there. This actually would be a useful feature, as you can store ingredients that would otherwise be destroyed anyways. However, there's a bug with the system where when the rat comes to eat the ingredients, it despawns everything on the screen and in your hand, which can completely ruin your run, so they're not worth using.
I sure am a hungry gnome. I want to eat a big fucking meal.
There's also a harder version of holding called juggling. You're not going to see me use it in this video, but it's basically the same thing as holding, where you pick up the first viable ingredient you see, but instead of just holding it, you drop it at the back of the conveyor belt. The advantage of juggling is that you can do it with multiple ingredients instead of just the one that you can with holding. However, it is much harder, and the aforementioned bug, or dropping an ingredient on top of another one can cause it to despawn, makes this trick inconsistent at best.
I sure am. I sure am. I sure am. I sure am.
You'll see in live splits on the left that I don't actually have a PB set for this game yet, and that I started with 0 attempts at the beginning of this video, and that's because I just made the setup for this video. Before this, I was practicing runs, basing them off of the endgame timer instead of timing them myself, but I have had some successful runs before this. Gnome Maw is an entirely RNG dependent game. Getting a good time is entirely reliant on you getting a pot early. You'll see some of these runs that you can go 30 seconds just doing nothing because a pot refuses to spawn, and sometimes you'll get a pot to spawn, but none of the ingredients that you need.
I sure am. I sure am. I sure am. I sure am a hungry gnome. I want to eat a big fucking meal.
An important trick that I find very easy to forget is turning on the stove at the beginning of each run. It's a quick optimization to make sure you're not caught trying to turn the stove on when you could be grabbing an ingredient.
I sure am a hungry gnome. I want to eat a big fucking meal.
You'll see me mess up what would otherwise be a perfectly viable run a couple of times in this video. The controls are deceptively finicky, and some ingredients can be hard to grab onto, especially the wheat. You'll see me mess up grabbing wheat more than any other ingredient in this game, basically.
I sure am a hungry gnome. I want to eat a big fucking meal.
Some runs you basically just have to give up on. Once you only have like 20 seconds left on the timer, unless you have like 3 or 4 of the required ingredients, you're basically screwed unless you get really lucky. And once you have like 10 seconds left, even if you only need one more ingredient, There's enough of a delay between finishing a meal and it actually being ready to serve that it becomes basically impossible to finish in time.
Sure you are hungry. Are you sure you are? Are you sure you are? Are you sure you are hungry? Are you sure you are? Are you sure you are? Are you sure you are hungry? Are you sure you? Are you sure you? Are you sure you? Are you sure you are hungry? Are you sure you? Are you sure you? Are you sure you? Are you sure you are hungry gnome? I want to eat a big... Are you sure you are? Are you sure you are hungry gnome? I want to eat a big fucking meal.
There are absolutely further optimizations that could be made to this run. For instance, you could hold your cursor closer to the beginning of the conveyor, and you could probably find an exact spot to hold it that makes grabbing ingredients easier, but I'm just not at that point with this game quite yet.
This is crap.
This was an especially close one, but that wheat came in just a bit too late for it to have been possible. Even if I had grabbed it right as it spawned in, there wouldn't have been enough time for the meal to be ready to serve. This next run more than makes up for it though.
I want to eat a big fucking meal. He actually beat it? How the fuck did he actually beat it? What the fuck?
And there you have it. Gnome Maw, Rat Filler, and 3407. A great run to end it on. A lot of things went right here. The early pot, then the mushroom, followed immediately by 2 wheat. Easily the best RNG I've had in this game yet. As always, I could have been a bit quicker, but I didn't mess up any of my grabs and had a clean hold with that early mushroom. Suffice to say, I'm happy with this time, and as far as I know, it's currently the world record. It's certainly my PB. I'll probably try to work on this time a bit more, but honestly I don't know how far you can realistically push it without perfect or near perfect RNG. I could absolutely see sub 30 happening, but going lower than that is going to take a lot of attempts. But yeah, that's about it from me. Hope you enjoyed these attempts, and maybe try to pick the game up for yourself. Till next time.